soon. She will also be coming to talk about another critical stage in women's life that are often overlooked, the topic of perimenopause and menopause. So, let me just tell you a little bit about our guest. Amita Sharma, woman holistic wellness champion and advocate. She is the co-founder of Nourish Doc, a holistic wellness platform dedicated to empower women through every stage of their hormonal transition, from PMS to perimenopause and beyond. She has pioneered a culturally sensitive, accessible, and innovative self-care app designed to support women with evidence-based and integrative wellness solutions tailored to their unique needs. She brings her personal struggles as a perimenopausal woman navigating corporate America, where she faced firsthand the lack of workplace resources and support for women going through this transition. Inspired by her journey, she designed a holistic self care and expert assisted care platform to break the silence around menopause and ensure that this once taboo topic is discussed openly. As a society, we must empower women to prioritize their health beyond their reproductive years, preventing chronic conditions and fostering long term well being. At Nourish Doc, they support women in their 40s and beyond, guiding them on a journey of self care and self love. Their holistic wellness programs address often overlooked topics such as menopause, sexual health, stress, and anxiety, providing evidence based, integrative solutions tailored to women's unique need. It's time to change the conversation and ensure that women everywhere have access to the care, knowledge, and support that they deserve. Without further ado, let us welcome our special guest tonight, Amita Sharma. Good night, good night, good night. We are so gracious and happy to have you on our program tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gabriella. That was a long, long introduction.
Yes, it
I'm
was.
so yeah, I'm so happy to be talking to your community in Trinidad.
Yes, we are so
So,
happy to
and
have
the work
you.
that you're doing, and you are a counselor as well. So you know the importance of how women go through what women go
Yes,
through.
yes.
So
Yes. So thank you. Thank you so much for even taking this opportunity to come and, grace us with your knowledge and your expertise. And I hope that our audience who is listening, even those who are 40 and above, will be blessed and they will be edified by the information tonight. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about what's the difference between perimenopause and menopause?
yeah. So, you're talking about the 40 plus. Actually, the whole thing is shifting now to younger women.
Yes.
Women over actually 35, late 30s should start thinking about all this, right? Now, the menopause, I think we all understand it's typically happens in 50, early 50s, 50, 51, 52. That's the normal age. But perimenopause are the years that are a transition year, so to speak, and that can last up to 4 to 10 years for a woman, depending on the culture, depending on the lifestyle, depending on the diet. And those 4 to 10 years are transition years before a woman gets into the full menopause, which is the complete cessation of your menstrual cycle, so to speak. Now, that is the very high level definition of what is the difference between perimenopause and menopause. And then rest of our life, women are in menopause, postmenopause, rest of their life until they die, right? That's how the thing is peri,
Yes.
meno, and post.
Pause. I love it. So I was reading up on it today, and when I looked at the definition of the both, I was like, wait. So we have been using the word loosely and wrongly because a lot of times once women start to see the symptoms happening,
Yeah.
they start to get the symptoms and they start to cold sweat and the heat and everything. We call it menopause, but it's actually perimenopause. Menopause is actually when the menstrual cycle actually stops. So that was mind blowing for me. That was mind blowing for me today. I was like, oh, we calling it the wrong thing. Wow.
That's
Thank
right. Yeah.
yes. Okay. So you have been very open about your own struggles during perimenopause. Can you take us back to the moment when you felt, unseen or unsupported during this time?
Yeah, so I have actually not only my personal story, but I have talked to over 5,000 women across the world to
Yes.
understand this whole journey. And me personally, I actually did that in silent. I had a silent struggle. I started having these perimenopause symptoms when I just turned 40. And quite honestly, I did not even understand the word. Like you just said, you don't know what
Yes.
perimenopause is, right?
Yes.
I had no clue. And the same story happened with me. Like, all these strange symptoms coming, it impacted my career, my financial, ability to work, and my physical wellness, my weight, all those things. And then I couldn't sleep at night. In the morning, my brain fog, my productivity. So it took over my entire life, is what I'm trying to say. It wasn't
Yes.
only, a couple of hot flashes, you take a medication and you're fine. It doesn't happen typically to women like that. It engulfs the entire your life because you're having sleep issues, and in the morning you wake up, and body image, all these things combined together
Yes.
starts happening to women typically. That's what I'm saying.
Wow. 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 So it's not just the symptoms. It's a holistic. It's the whole body is affected during this period. So what would you like to share with someone, or the women listening right now who may be feeling like, what, oh my God, why do we have to go through this? I'm feeling so down. I'm feeling so depressed. I'm feeling like, why you can't just take this from away from me? Someone who's feeling so low, what do you normally tell them and encourage them during this period in their life?
Yeah, yeah. So most of the women feel discouraged. They feel alone, lonely. In United States, a lot of women end up getting divorced.
Wow.
50% of them are divorced. I'm not
Yeah.
saying menopause is the cause, but typically at this age group, 60% of the women are getting divorced. So now you can imagine loneliness, that the work is not the same, your career is not the same, your looks are not the same, your weight has put on, and all these symptoms are coming in. And you can easily get anxiety, depression, all kind of feelings that of loneliness or trauma. I had anxiety issues, and I embraced a holistic lifestyle, thankfully, early on in my younger age, so that I was able to survive. I was talking to a woman this morning, and she was talking that she's just barely 50. Same thing, what I'm just sharing with you. The
Yes.
kid is out of the college at that age, right? She said she just got divorced, and unfortunately, she got diagnosed with a breast cancer, and the menopause symptoms are unbearable. She can't focus on her work. So it's not just the physical part, right? It's the
Yes.
everything what I'm talking about. So women can do so much, but it has to start earlier, a younger age, right?
Yeah.
Not when, I mean, you can start at age 50, 51. I'm not saying anything you start is never too late, but
Yes.
typically, I think women should be aware of what they're going to get into in their 40s, and they should start taking care of themselves earlier on. And I can get into the details.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It's very important that we take it for granted that, we're young, we'll get old at some point. We don't need to study about that right now. But actually paying attention is very critical, because when it creeps up on us, then we realize, oh my gosh, I should have listened.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It just
I should
creeps
have
up out of
listened.
nowhere, and then
Yes,
suddenly it's like everything is bombarding at you.
yes,
And
yes,
typically, I can share, like, most of us in our 40s don't have time. We have young kids, young or teenage,
yeah,
kids, and then most of the time we're not paying attention to our lifestyle or diet. So most of the time there's a lot of inflammation that is kind of built in a woman's body.
yeah,
So all that inflammation, along with the hormonal fluctuations that are happening in our body, can really get you completely out of sync, right? So what can women do? You asked me that question.
yes,
Women should really pay attention to their lifestyle and diet, and embrace a holistic lifestyle, embrace a daily routine. It's very, very important for them to start doing it at an earlier age, like, mid to late 30s is what I would recommend. I don't recommend a 20-year-old, they want to party, they want to go to the bars, they want to
yes,
wake up in
yes,
the 2 o'clock in
yes,
the morning. But by the time you're at that age group, you need to start paying attention to a lot of these, embracing a holistic lifestyle. And I can get into the details of what exactly that means, a holistic lifestyle.
Yes, yes. So you can share it with us. You can let us know. But before you go there, I'm seeing like there's a because of the of society and what we put into our system, now things is quickly shifting. So before it used to be the 50s and come down to the 40s, and now you're saying we need to be aware as early as our early 30s. So just now it might be the 20s as well, experiencing menopause at an early stage because it is just trickling down. So yeah, Grace, tell us exactly what are some of those techniques that women
So
can start doing.
yeah, yeah. So this is on a very high level, right? This is not a medical advice. I'm not a medical doctor,
Yes,
but personally, some of the holistic therapies. What holistic means is that our mind, body, and soul, right? We are not
yes,
just physical well-being, how we think, our emotional, our mental, our social, our relationships. All of this is together, right?
yes,
So it's important to have some kind of a balance in your life and reduce the stress when you are in your mid 30s to late 30s. And we know that there's a lot of data that talks about how you can reduce the stress by
yes,
meditation, by yoga, by all that, but also embracing some kind of an Ayurvedic lifestyle. And I can get into the details. What that means is that on a daily basis, have some kind of a daily routine that in the morning, you are going, bowel movements every single day. So you nourish yourself in some kind of a sort of like a nourishing, healing herbs, so to speak, in the morning to get your
yes.
body
Into that space.
cleanse, right, in the morning. So I drink like ginger and turmeric and some of the spices, some of the herbs that I put in the morning so that my body is cleansed in the morning, so that I can have a bowel movement every single day. So body cleansing is important. The gut health is what I'm talking about, right? You
Yes,
need to do every single day because your gut health is now related to your mental health. And then having some kind of a simple in the morning, like even a simple oil massage. They say pampering yourself, right? A simple. So what I do in the morning is I take a coconut oil or almond oil or sesame oil and massage myself in that a little bit, moisturize myself. Even moisturizing your ears inside or even a belly button. That's something that kind of helps you calm down in the
yes,
morning. Or a simple 2-minute gratitude or meditation or simple yoga, simple like a Surya Namaskar, like sun salutation, can help to ground yourself, right? That is typically in the morning. And then use some healing spices like cinnamon, like coriander, like fennel, like cumin, like carom seeds, right? So many kitchen spices that can be used. Turmeric, I talked about that. I talked about ginger. And then as a woman starts growing older, like in 40s, our estrogens going, our hormones are going up and down. So it's
yes,
important to have the diet rich in phytoestrogens, which have natural estrogens that you can start nourishing your body every single day. So what that means is your broccoli, your cauliflower, your kale, these kind of leafy vegetables, you want to make sure you have them, if possible, every day, and also increase your protein intake,
yes.
right? And then this is something, and then at the same time, it's very important because our bone mass is going down, as we get older, all of us. We need to have a strength training built into our exercise regimen, right?
Yes,
So, strength training, like, some kind of weight trainings, things like that. It's important. So exercise, grounding exercises like yoga, like even learning to breathe properly, right? Breathing, different type of breathing techniques. It's important to understand that. Like I said, strength training, even using some essential oil to calm yourself, lavender at night and things like that. I typically use go to acupuncture quite a bit or acupressure. It helps to cleanse your system. That is very important. Even hypnotherapy, that can help with your hot flashes. There's a research behind it, right? Or even counseling, like mental therapy counseling, because a lot of women go through anxiety and depression. So there's nothing wrong. There's no taboo attached to if you seek some help from either a mental health counselor or someone who understands perimenopause, menopause, how your hormones are fluctuating. What can you do, right? The other thing could be you can take the supplements, right? Some of the supplements. Now, we don't encourage that you should take supplements on your own, You have to take, every person is different, individual, right? So you need to take supplements according to what you need, right? Not just go to Costco or somewhere and start piling in all the supplements and start feeding yourself the supplements. So a lot of supplements like ashwagandha is really good for your anxiety. Shatavari is another one that's an Ayurvedic one. It really helps. Triphala is really good for your gut health. Then so many other supplements are there, right? For your bones, you can take that. So these are some, so it's a combination. That is what holistic lifestyle is, right? Mind, body, and soul. We talked about that. So how can you support yourself using the diet? We know the food as medicine, using exercise and movement, right? Movement as medicine, any type of movement, even walking in the forest or walking in greenery, even gardening, whatever helps you calm down, right? And then how do you bring in added things like supplements, that can help and support your body. And along with that, some of the things like I talked about essential oils, I talked about hypnotherapy, I talked about acupressure, I talked about Ayurveda. Ayurvedic therapies can help you calm down. Some body therapies like different head massages, medicated oils, getting yourself massages done, some therapies done, and hypnotherapy, right? Cognitive behavioral therapy. These are all the things that can be done to help yourself support through this whole journey that you're going through. And that is what we are proposing, in at Nourish Talk, is that I'm not saying don't take medication, don't take HRT, but your first line of defense should be using these holistic therapies, using food as medicine, using movement as medicine to help yourself navigate this journey, right? That should be the first defense. And
Yes.
that's what, we are talking about.
Right. Awesome. So you take us to class there because there's a lot of things that
Yeah,
we
I
need to
said a lot of
start,
things.
that we have to start doing. And some of the things you highlighted there, like the cumin and the turmeric, I'm hearing you. I'm thinking about food because that's the things that we put in food. But those are natural herbs that we could put into our bodies and use it as something to heal us and to really help us during those times. And you said, well, reading in your bio, you would have spoken about not having that support, in the workplace. What was happening during that time and what you actually needed from your workspace that you was not getting at that point in time?
So there's a lot of things, right? In the US, medical fraternity, medical system actually does not understand. They're not taught in medical schools about menopause. They're
Okay.
barely taught about 3 hours or 8 hours. The doctors themselves have gone on national televisions and talked about that. So typically for women, they're not served properly, right? If they're going through all these hormonal fluctuations. I went to a doctor, they will prescribe an antidepressant, and that's not what you want to do. If you take the antidepressant, it's going to, I don't know what it's going to do,
Yes.
right? It
Yes.
kind of mess up your system
Your
more.
system, yes.
So, and then a lot of women are also having problems with their loss of libido, the sexual health, and they don't feel very open to talk about their relationships with their spouses, right? We talked about the divorce part. I'm not saying that's the reason, but that could be a reason, right? Because a lot of women, when they're going through these symptoms, that's one of the symptoms, the pelvic health area, that changes. And also, as we get older, right, we know that our face skin kind of get thin, right? The same way the vaginal area also gets thin. The collagen, we lose the collagen. You know how we lose the collagen on our face. The same thing, the collagen we lose in a vaginal area too. And I just interviewed a urologist, so he explained me all these things. So when you lose the collagen in the vaginal area, when someone is having sexual health issues, it could be painful and it can impact relationships. So these are taboo topics, right? You were talking about the taboo topic earlier. We don't feel very comfortable talking about it to anyone. And how do you talk about these things? This is not just only now we are talking relationships, we're talking about families, we're talking about society, community. It's not just a simple hot flash that you can fix it. It's the relationship with your spouse, right? All this can get impacted because a woman is going through so much inside that she doesn't feel confident that she doesn't know, she doesn't get supported, and she feels silent. And that's my story too, and that's stories of millions of women. They feel the same way, that they feel like, oh my God, who do I go and talk to? I'm having all these, it can be embarrassing. Women feel embarrassed that they're having these kind of issues. So you need a safe space, right? You need some kind of a space where women feel they can be heard. They feel they don't feel judged. They feel that they are safe over here. That is what women need. And at the same time, they need, okay, what can I do to help myself, right?
Yeah, because there's a lot you're saying there, and my brain just ticking. Right, but as you mentioning the fact that it's not just the woman going through it. It stems and it is multifaceted. So it's not just the woman; it's the community, it's relationships. So a lot of things are impacted when women go through this critical stage in their life. So in essence, when you're talking about the relationship part of things, because you spoke about the impact that it could have, even with sexual drive, in terms of, women not being there because of what is happening with their body. What advice would you give to men who may not understand what is happening with the women, because a lot of times they're just lost, they don't understand. What advice would you give to women to be a little more supportive, or what advice would you tell them so that they could be a support to the women as they go through this phase in their life?
Yeah, men can be the pillars for women, right? So many men have interviewed me, and I was quite surprised. I said, "Why do you want to talk to me? I'm talking about all these women-related menopause.
Yes.
Why do you want to talk to me?" Right? I talked to these guys, right? So these guys, it was strange. They were coming to me because their wives were going through this, what I just described, and they felt that it was impacting their relationship, and they wanted to understand how can they support the women in their
Mm,
lives so that people don't fall apart, right? So
yes.
I think the first step is the awareness and understanding of this whole issue,
Yes.
right? We don't
Yeah.
understand as a society, as a community, all over the world for that matter. There's a very less understanding of this entire topic. It's a very complicated topic, right? This whole perimenopause, menopause, and how the body is changing, and even the medical fraternity is a bit confused. So the first step is at least understanding of what women can go through, and then what are the things that you can do to support
Yes.
your spouse, your partner, or whoever. It Empathy is needed, and for women also, I think it's very important for them to voice their opinion, voice what they're going through, right? Not be silent. Like I'm telling you, I was silent. I was like, oh my God, if I go and talk to my office workers and HR or anyone, they will think I'm gone crazy. I can't remember
Yes.
things. I mean, it's just, you start forgetting things, right? Because you haven't had a good night's sleep. In the morning your brain is kind of fogged up. My brain used to be so fogged up. I would
Yes.
I would just start forgetting things and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get dementia, or I'm going to get some strange things. It's not that, right?
Yes.
It's your what you're going through. So I think it's important to understand, the deeper understanding, not a higher level understanding. A deeper understanding is very important for the family to understand what their mom is going through, their wife is going through, or whoever is going through, so that they can be supportive of that. That's what I'm saying.
Yes. 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 Thank you. Thank you so much. So I know we have shared a lot. So I'm going to give
Yes.
you a little. I'm giving you a little break. Take a little water break, right? And we're just going to do the thought of the week and then a promo video, and then we'll get back to our interview. Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, Dex, you could put up the thought of the week for us. And the thought of the week is full and complete surrender to Him. This is God's perfect will for man. He is our only hope. So I'm going to read it again. Full and complete surrender to Him. This is God's perfect will for man. He is our only hope. Now, folks, that's a tough thought of the week, eh? But I want you all to really sit down and meditate it, because a lot of times it is a struggle to fully, those two words, fully and completely surrender sometimes is really a struggle. But I could assure you and reassure you that when you really completely give all to God, all your burdens, all your cares, all your stress, all your challenges, all your struggles, once you place it in His hands, He will see you through no matter what. Man will fail you, woman will fail you, but God continues to show up. So, whoever is listening, trust God. Surrender it fully, completely unto God. So, we can go on to our next promo video. Dex, you can put it up for us.
Most people only see the sessions, but there's so much more behind what I do. It starts the moment I walk in, I check in with myself, prepare my space, and remind myself why I am here. Each person I meet comes with their own story, their own identity, their own weight, and I don't take that lightly. I listen with care, I take notes, not just to remember, but to understand. After the session ends, I take a moment to reflect, to make sure I'm giving each person what they truly need. Some days are heavy, some days are beautiful, most days are both. But every day I leave knowing I showed up fully, honestly, and with heart, because this isn't just what I do, it's who I am called to be. Most people only see the sessions, but there's so much more behind what I do. It starts the moment.
All right, awesome. So, whew, I get caught off guard because I wasn't expecting that video. But yes, yours truly, Gabriella. So if it is your need counseling services, you'll need mentorship services, I am that person. So feel free to reach out. Whatever challenges you may be facing, whether it be groups, whether it be couples, whether it be youths, one on one, feel free to reach out. Yeah. So let's return to our interview with Amita. Yes, Amita. They were just taking a short break.
Oh, no,
A
no, no,
short
no
break.
problem. I think I've shared so much, for people in your faith, in your
Yes.
ministry, and not only for women but also for men. That the stage that they're going through, the mid age, is what I'm talking about. To really
Yes.
pay attention, because there are so many changes that are happening in a woman's body, even a guy's body, right? Even
Yeah.
men are going through their own hormonal
I'm
fluctuations, not
actually
as
I was actually going there with you now. Because I didn't want it to sound one sided. Yes, women go through it too, but I'm not sure the word, if it's I can't remember the word, but I know there's a word for what men go through. But maybe you could help us and edify us on that part as well, because men may be unaware that actually changes happen to them as well, and it's not just women that the hormonal changes happens with. So maybe you could just enlighten the men for who may be listening. What are some
I,
changes that happen if it is you are aware of it?
yeah, I'm not an expert on men's health, but
Yes.
from what I have heard, men have their testosterone that can go down, right? And
Yes.
so they also feel. I mean, that's one of the main hormones that they have, and
Yes.
so they also don't feel as energetic is the word
Yes.
that and also their sexual health also might get impacted because there's so many companies out there with ED and all those things. So this is something is not only happening to women. For women, I think it's a little bit more aggravated. More, you can see it visibly for a lot of women sometimes, because most of the women, they end up putting on weight. Majority of them. I'm not talking everyone, and also the overall physical changes happen
Yes.
sometimes more to women. A lot of women have their hair also starts getting thin, face also gets a little kind of the collagen. We were talking about all those things. So
Yes.
sometimes it's a little bit more apparent to women, and then inside what's women's body going, because women are more social, as you and I know. We love to talk, we love to kind of interact. Right? Men also keep it to themselves. They don't necessarily talk. So I highly encourage men also to talk about their issues, because it's not just a woman's issue they are, if they're going through something, depression or anxiety or other things, it
Yes.
is they also need to come and talk about it, right? So it's both. It's just that in women's case, the chances of getting through osteoporosis, the chances of getting through heart health, the chances of getting through diabetes and cancer is a little bit more because because of the hormones. I said the hormone fluctuations, and then they're depleted. And if you haven't taken care of them yourself before, we haven't done so many things we were talking about earlier. And if you haven't taken any HRT, which is to supplement, right, the hormonal depletion, things can the data talks about that more women have these chronic conditions than men have,
Okay.
even though women live longer than men, right? Most majority of the time, in most of the cultures, women are living longer, but that doesn't mean that they're living a high quality of life
Yes.
longer, right? The quality of life goes down for a lot of women, right? So
Yes.
that is, per men generally have, heart health issues, and we know that all that testosterone is going down. They have other issues too as they start aging. Aging is a big topic, longevity and aging. You know how we know our cells are kind of shrinking, even the brain. There's a
Yes.
book that has been written by Dr. Lisa Mosconi, that how a woman's brain starts shrinking as she gets older. Can you believe that? As
Wow.
opposed to a guy's brain. Women's
Mm.
our brains are shrinking. I mean, it's not even funny. There's a kind of a graphic that I can share later on how our brains are changing. So what can you do to support your brain, right? So even for guys, our brains are changing. Well, eat healthy fats. Brain is all fat, right? We know that. So supplement that in your diet. Eat healthy fats, fish oil, all these fish, like salmon and all the kind of fish is very
Yes.
important for us to put in our brain. Avocado, ghee is very good. Even some of the nuts and seeds are very good. So what can you do, right, to make sure that you are not kind of, as you start aging and as you're living longer, that your brain is not functioning and you feel that you are not doing anything or contributing anything to the society. You're just kind of sitting there, right? That is
Yes.
what is so important for us to understand, not to scare people, but we are all going to get to a age 80 and 70 and 60s, and all of that. All of us are going into that trajectory, but it is important because all of us are living longer. Our grandparents did not live longer, you know. They
Yes.
used to die in their mid to late 60s or 70s. They never lived longer. Now we are all living longer. So that's really what I want to emphasize, the fact on the men's issues, also women's issue, both.
Yes. Yes. Wow. So I'm glad. I'm glad that you kind of shared a little bit about the men as well, and knowing that knowing the knowledge that okay, the women have more physical signs, but the men they go through stuff as well. But I think maybe we could ask Andy. Well, I'll ask Andy, and maybe Dexter can as well. If we could find someone who can share a little bit more for the men, because I know sometimes they may think that that the women are being talked about a little more than the men, but they also go through, and they feel also that they need to be silent because not it's like a taboo topic as well for them to even come out and even share what they are experiencing. So men, be encouraged to speak out. I know it's a challenge. Even to seek help is a challenge, but feel free. Even with your spouses, with your partner, share how you feel with one another, and that could help even the woman and yourself during those moments, and even your relationship. Yeah, so that's my advice to that. So,
Yeah, so I
Bernadine,
say that men go through andropause, right? Like I said,
yes,
I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert on men's
yes,
health, but they're having their own
andropause.
version
That's what
of
I was looking for
menopause.
just now.
Yeah,
Andropause.
exactly.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Men go through andropause. So yeah, we could get more insight on that later on. Wesley Ryan says, andropause, not too sure if this is the correct spelling, added to our wife situation, which could be a battle. So I try to educate myself as best as I can. Plenty tolerance is needed. Great information. Thank you. He said great
Oh,
tolerance.
well, and
Plenty
it's not
tolerance is needed.
andropole. It is. Andropause, pause, like
Po-
menopause,
pause,
MENO.
not pause, right?
Pausing meaning saying,
Pause,
pause
you're
meaning,
right.
kind of stop. You know
To
what I mean?
stop.
Stopping.
Yes,
Yeah,
andropause.
but yeah, absolutely.
Thank you,
Men are going
Wesley.
through their own situation, andropause, and they have their hormones kind of going backed out.
Yes,
Not so much as women, of course. Like
yes.
I said, like we discussed earlier. But thank you if you
What was
like this
striking
information.
What was striking for me, yes, Wesley, thank you so much. What was striking for me just now was the fact that you said that the brain shrinks. Now, now you're making me think that I should stay young forever. I didn't even know that that's a process. That is
Oh, the
something
brain
that.
part. Yeah, there's a data.
Okay, wow, 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 wow. Okay, great. So I would read up a little bit more on that. But could you tell us a little bit about your organization, which is Nourish Doc? Could you tell us what you all do? What are some of the patients that you see? Some of the women that come through? Some of the things that you all do?
Yeah, so I'm not a medical doctor, but we've collaborated with about 500, 600 experts from all over the world. I
Yes.
talked about so many different therapies earlier, right? And I talked about so many different symptoms that women are going through. There are over 37 plus symptoms that women can go through, during this journey. So what we
Yes.
have done is we have created a holistic wellness platform for women's, right? For women's wellness.
Yeah.
And the idea is that it should be very affordable. And the first step is self care. So many women don't even understand all these things, basics of that. So we
Yes.
start with the basic awareness of self care. Within the self care, we give a lot of tools and trackers and a lot of programs that are all done by experts. And then after that, if the woman wants to go to the next step, then we have again affordable with group sessions, where they can have some expert who can teach, talk about whatever issues they're going through. And
Yes.
then after that, they can go for one-on-one, right? So this entire platform, what we've done is very based on the stage and based on what a woman is going through. We meet her there, and we also keep it very affordable because we don't want women to spend thousands of dollars on this without understanding what they're going through. I'm just sharing my example. I'm just a consumer like anyone else. So we wanted to bring this whole affordability, so
Yes.
for the women, so that she does not feel alone, she doesn't feel judged, but she's also supported by these experts if she needs to go one on one, right? That's what our
Yeah.
platform is doing.
Okay. And what changes have you seen with women who actually come to your organization, to your services? What was one of the victory stories that you had or encountered?
So there's a lot of research, so much research has been written by using all these holistic therapies. I was talking about so many of different things right earlier that you can manage your symptoms using some Ayurvedic therapies, using some acupuncture supplements, all of that. So you can manage these things quite effectively. There's a
Right.
lot of research that has been done. There's a lot of data that has been done. So women can feel, normal, or at least they can manage through this successfully with this different symptoms. But they need to have a proper holistic plan that is typically given by a naturopath, as an example, right? Or along with a movement expert, an exercise movement expert, or with a dietitian, like a dietitian together. And along with the mental health counseling. So a woman needs all of these pillars to help her feel that she can navigate this journey. And that's what we are trying to enable. And what I'm saying is there's a lot of research that talks about if you do this properly, you have to do this properly, you can navigate this journey with success.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Was
Yeah.
there any part of this process or practice that was really a part that was causing you to be scared or absolutely like just I don't know how to go through this? Did you have any difficult moments during this process?
Yeah, like I said, me personally, yes, I had a lot of difficult moments because I did not know at that time. And I had, there's someone else also talking about Church of Christ La Romanian. They're talking about the andropause, how
Yes.
people. But I personally, like I said, I had a lot of difficult times. I had to learn a lot by myself, and also I had to go back and learn about all these holistic therapies, right? But
Yes.
everything has to have a research behind it. So you
Yes.
don't want to just start something by yourself and then do experimentation, right? So there was a lot of learning that I had to do, and then I had to incorporate a holistic plan that way I was talking about earlier that included all of the things, right? The diet, the movement, the natural supplements, the all the other things. So and it like the talking about the comment here, it's not only the physical part, it also makes into the sexual and psychological part as well, for men as well as women. It's not just the physical part, it's the psychological part too, right? And the fatigue and the mood changes. I had all of that. It's very complex, right?
Yes.
But men also, like they're talking about, is men also go through the same similar kind of a issue, but women's are a little bit like, because the hormones are completely gone, right? That's what happens.
Wow.
It's
So let's,
aging. It's aging, right? It's all aging that's happening to men as well as
yes.
women. That's just it's aging.
Yes. So let's read that comment from the Church of Christ in Laramie. Yes, they went to Google.
They went to
Andropause,
Google. Yeah.
also known
Uh,
as andropause, also known as male menopause or age-related testosterone deficiency, is a syndrome characterized by a decline in testosterone levels in men as they age. This decline can lead to various physical, sexual, and psychological changes, including decrease in libido, erectile dysfunction, fatigue, and mood changes. While not a complete result with cessation of the reproductive function like female menopause, andropause represents a gradual shift in hormone balance with noticeable effects. And that is what you would have highlighted earlier on.
that's
The
what I was
woman,
saying, right? Because,
the
yeah,
woman
in
has more
menopause,
physical
exactly. Because
changes.
in menopause, our menstrual cycle stops completely, right?
Yes.
That's what women come now, and the hormones are almost depleted. In men, it's more gradual. They have their testosterone is going down, but they
Yes.
also have shifts going on, and that's what we call in today's day and age gray divorce. They talk about gray divorces going up in the society. It's the menopause and the andropause and all kind of pauses that's
Of
happening, right?
menopause.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we need to be careful. We need to pay attention, and we don't, as a society, as a community, we don't pay attention to these things that are happening to mid-age women and men as well.
And what would you say to someone who is listening and might be a little skeptical of the information or be a little skeptical to try some of the things during this stage? What would you advise or give them who may be a little bit skeptical and scared? What advice would you tell them right now as they are listening?
So I think it's important to equip yourself with the right knowledge, with the right awareness.
Yeah.
I don't think you should experiment. That would be my advice for men as well as women.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why we created this platform, because there is so many information out there, and you don't know what to believe, what not to believe. And once you understand the awareness part, the basic foundation of what is going on in your body, or what could, if you're younger, what is going to happen as you get older, then I personally think it's very, very important for you to consult someone, like a naturopathic doctor, or someone who can put you in some kind of holistic plan,
Yes.
over plan, right? To help you according to your body constitution. Each one of us are different from a culture. We didn't even talk about the cultural nuances that happens to women, or
Yes.
this is different. Menopause is different for different cultures, right? So it's important to consult with someone, a naturopathic doctor, or someone who can put together a complete holistic plan for you according to your constitution. So that is important. And having support is very important, like group, like a community support or some friend support. Psychological, we were talking about that earlier, the emotional part, we
Yes.
need all the support. So don't be shy to seek support, but on the other hand, equip yourself with the right kind of a knowledge, the right kind of resources, the right kind of everything, so you are prepared. You need to be, you're going on a mission, right? Waging a war
A
here, you know
journey
what
is
I
a
mean?
journey. War.
Against
Yes.
these hormones that are depleting. So you need to be prepared. That's
Prepared.
what I would
Yeah.
say. You prepare yourself. Hey, we prepare ourselves for everything. Like, when I'm having a kid, we have like 10,000 checklists. Oh my God, I did this, I did this, I did this.
Yes.
But we
It's the
don't prepare
same.
ourselves for one of the most important phases of our life that's going to stay with us for the rest of our life, right? We do
Yes.
not.
We do
And
not
that's what I'm
plan.
saying. It's very important for you to prepare yourself. Think of it like, okay, think of it like a war that's going to attack your body, and you will lose control. And if you don't pay attention to it, if you're not prepared, you do not want to end up having osteoporosis and all the things we talked about.
Yes. Yes.
Prepare. Yeah. That's what I would say.
I'll
Prepare
add that.
yourself.
I'm adding that to my bucket list.
Get ready for
I
a
need to
battle.
get
Get
ready
ready
for
to go
the
to the
battle.
war.
I didn't know the Lord was speaking about this.
Yeah, no, no,
So yeah.
I'm trying to make it funny. I don't want to be so
Yes.
serious,
I
but
know, I know. Be
yeah,
yourself. This is the space for that.
yeah,
Be yourself. Be
yeah,
yourself. What was one of the
exactly.
hardest things you had to believe that you had to unlearn in order to step into this space of wellness?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's important, right? It's important that we equip ourselves with the right tools. It's so
Right.
important in today's
Yeah.
day and age with so much stress that is creeping on our minds all the way. We need to equip ourselves with the right tools at when we're going through this stage of our life, right? And that's really what I'm trying to do. My mission in life is to equip men and women. Well, we're starting with women first. Men will come
Oh man.
afterwards, but
Yes.
yeah, but really equipping the women with the right tools so that they can thrive. They do not want to only survive, but they can thrive. That's really the intention. And faith is really good because faith can really help you. You were talking about faith earlier.
Yes.
Surrender yourself to the God. Faith really helps women get through this whole phase too. I personally believe in very big believer of faith. You know,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
All right. So how, as you are an advocate, and you empower women to take better care of their health, to be aware of their bodies, be aware of their health, what they put into their body, be prepared for this war. how do you stay how do you stay grounded? How do you stay grounded while you try to empower women, as you yourself would be going through this phase of perimenopause yourself? How do you stay grounded?
Yes. So it's important to stay grounded, right? So maybe in the evening, I personally do some me time every single day, whatever me time means for you as a person, whether
Yeah.
it's reading a book or doing some simple meditation or even chanting some verses, faith related, some chanting, right? Reading Bible or anything that gives you some kind of a calmness in
Yes.
your mind, right? That you feel that you belong in this world, right? You have been sent in this world for a purpose. So it's important, right? It's important to feel that God has sent you to do some purpose and you are connected with the community. You feel that. So I think if you want to feel grounded, believing in a faith always will keep you grounded, no matter which faith you are
Yeah.
from. That's what I personally feel. So I would, at night I would do a little bit of chanting, simple chanting. I personally am not, I would even do some Buddhist chanting, believe it or not, because, it doesn't matter, right? In the sense, whatever helps you ground yourself, or simple chanting can help you, or simple reading can help you. So that's what I do.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. And it's very critical for
Thank you.
us to, as women and as men, to have that self care. Self care is important, and it goes across all the spheres of life. Any stage of and journey that you are on, your mental health, your physical health is
Yes.
important. So folks, be aware and take some you time. I had to talk to myself as well. Take some me time, take some you time, because it is important for your health. So, Andy A. Charles, our usual host. He's not with us tonight, but he's saying, "Hi, guys. Such an amazing wealth of information. Just got in and trying to get over the day. Awesome stuff." Yeah. So I would not have shared, I'm not sure if there was any program at the point in time, but he is going through a little, grief with some of the persons that would have passed in his church community. So that's why he's not here today, right? But he will be gracing us with his presence next week. But thank you so
Thank you.
much for
Thank you.
being so
Thank
supportive,
you.
Andy. And I hope that all
Hmm.
is well. We continue to pray for you and keep you in our prayers. Yeah.
Hmm. Thank you
So
so much for
you're
having me.
welcome.
Thank you so much, Gabriella, for having me. I really appreciate
Yes,
that.
you're welcome. I have one more question. So,
Hmm.
what legacy would you like to leave behind for the next generation of women who would be rising up and maybe suffering in silence like many of
Hmm.
us right now? What legacy would you
Hmm.
like to leave behind?
It's natural. They should feel empowered. That's my legacy. I want the younger women who are coming behind me. They can say, okay, they feel empowered, and then I made a little bit of a difference empowering them. To me, that's
Yes.
a huge legacy by helping them getting empowered, by helping them get confident in their body, mind, body, and wellness. Right, by helping them thrive in their relationships, by helping them and just thrive in life. And that's really
Yes.
the legacy I want to leave for women behind me, younger than
Yes.
me. Because,
Yes.
I can't help anything older than me, but younger than me, yes, I can.
Younger
So
than me.
that's what I really hope to do with my work is really get through faith organizations, get through as many women as possible, get through as many countries as possible, because I really want each and every woman in the world to feel empowered with this resource that we, feel
Yes.
empowered with the knowledge. That's the
Yes.
legacy I really would wish that I can create, I can leave behind.
Mm, wow. Thank you so much for gracing us with
Thank
your
you.
presence tonight. We appreciate you. And I'm sure you listened to the video that we had up before, but that was one of our clinicians from Jamaica. And she also was speaking about our mental health, our women's health in
Oh,
general.
great, great.
Yeah. And she spoke from the postpartum, she spoke from pregnancy. So how the
Okay.
village is very important
Yeah.
in
Yes.
supporting women during this time. And you also came and you highlighted that same exact thing. We
Mhm.
need the support
Mhm.
during this phase, and we need to be more aware. Awareness is key when it comes
Mhm.
to your health. And today has also been that forum for us to edify and let women know that they are not alone during this process, right? And it is a stage that we all have to prepare for, even myself. We all have to prepare for this stage and plan. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll just ask Dex if he could just put up the thought of the week one more time for us.
I'm sorry.
Dex, I'm asking the producer if he could put up the thought of the week. Yes. So our thought of the week again is full and complete surrender to him. This is God's perfect will for man. He is our only hope. Yeah. So that's our thought of
Yes.
the week. Please be reminded, let it soak in, let it carry out throughout the week. I want to thank our guest for gracing us with her presence and with her knowledge tonight. I want to say thank you for all who have listened and who was listening, who commented, who graced us with all the dictionary meanings. Thank you so much for edifying us, especially when it comes to the men part of things. Yeah, and if you're still listening, we would like, if it is, you can find someone who could come and share the men's side now. We talk about the women, so we want a little information for the men as well so that they don't feel left out and they could understand also that they themselves are going through changes in their bodies and it could start as early as in their 30s as well. And so that they can be more aware and know that there are changes as well as women. Although the women have more physical signs, the men do go through stuff as well. And so that they could be edified, so that they would be able to speak out and that we could make relationships last longer because as our guest would have said earlier on, the divorce rate is high even with she's not saying that it's equated with it, but it does play a part based on what she's saying because the sexual drive drops and all these things. So hopefully in the future we will get someone who could come and create that balance for us. So thank you so much again, everyone, for listening. Thank you for our producer and working so hard in the background. Thank you, Andy, for gracing me with this opportunity to host Breaking Out of Depression. So, folks, thank you so much. I hope that this session and this program was really edifying. It was very informative, even for me. I have learned a lot with from our guests. So much things that is happening and how important women's health are and how important every stage and every journey of their life there needs to be a community, there needs to be support for women. And these topics that are usually taboo topics, these topics that are just overlooked because people think, well, we are women, we go through this is a natural course of life. We understanding daily as persons come and share that it's not just a natural course. It's not just something that women go through and nothing happens and that's it. We need to be aware of what happens with our women mentally, physically. And what was alarming for me with our guest is that she shared that it is not just the woman that is going through this physical change or this emotional change. It can impact relationship, it can impact families, it can impact the community. So we see how big how big this is. So I want to thank you all so much for tuning in today. And I just want to say thank you so much. And until next time, we would see you in our next session next week Tuesday as we would continue to break out of depression. So I am your host, Gabriella Woods, and I would see you next time. Until next time, Godspeed. Bye.
There ain't got no way I'm gonna make it without my Lord, no. Ain't got no way I'm gonna make it without my Lord, no.